I'm taking Harlequins to an event this weekend, and since they're no longer the powerhouse they used to be in 9th edition, do they still have a chance? So why am I doing it? Well, Harlequins were my 10th edition army, but when the edition dropped, it turned out that they're no longer an independent faction, but I painted them and I still want to play with them. I think it's possible to still do okay with them in the tournament. They're not the melee beast they once were, and they don't have the same janky rules, but let's do a deep dive and see what I need to take and how they're going to do for me. In the lore, it makes sense that Harlequins are just an accompanying force rather than an army on their own. It seems likely, and I'm hopeful, that in the full Eldari Codex, there will be a Harlequins detachment. At the moment though, mono clowns are not really designed to be a solo faction. Looking at some of the challenges. Troop units just aren't what they used to be, and while they can be battle line taking a Troupe Master as the Warlord, they only have 1 OC and a max 1 damage melee weapons. They lost movement shenanigans. Voidweavers are max 3 in an army, and Starweavers are down to squads of 4. Vehicles aren't natively -1 to wound. There's only 6 fate dice now, which Harlequins needed to bridge the power gap, and they have no ability to generate CP as mono clowns, so Fire and Fade is likely to be too expensive to use. They also have no special durable unit that can sit and hold objectives. There are some positives though. The army has a 4+ invuln for everyone. Shooting is pretty good, particularly against vehicles. There are good units and they're being used in full Eldari lists. The Death Jester is a great lone op shooter. The Solitaire, a great character killer. And a Troupe Master is cheap and powerful at 55 points. In general, units are cheap, there aren't many data cards, only 8, so list building is a bit easier. So thinking about tactics. Harlequins prefer a careful trading game, keeping fast units until the end and scoring well. Chip away early with good target priority and keep units safe. You can't go with too much pressure as things can melt, and generally don't expect to have much left at the end. There are 3 strats that will use up most of your CP. You got lightning fast reactions for -1 to hit, smoke screen for vehicles as they get cover as well as the -1 to hit, and grenades for a few extra mortal wounds from your infantry. With only 6 fate dice, it's a bit limiting, but Overwatch isn't really useful for the faction, and there aren't any variable damage weapons over D3 for really maxing out damage. The Troupe Master can treat a dice as a 6 for a hit, wound or a save, so a great way to use those wasted dice. But the Shadowseer can take the Reader of the Runes enhancement to reroll a single dice in your fate pool each turn, seems both of these are needed. With a limited selection of units, there is an amount that's an auto pick. You'll likely want max Voidweavers, 3 Troupe Masters, Death Jester with Fate's Messenger, 3 units of at least 2 Skyweavers, and a Solitaire. That's 1,045 points before you consider troops and transports. Looking now though at the key units and what they'll do for you. Voidweavers at 125 points. Fast moving and OC2, useful when the infantry is only OC1. Shuriken cannons, and I'd take the prismatic cannon for its damage 4 shots. You have 2 strats for -1 to hit, and smokescreen also gives cover, which may be key for getting to a 3+ save, as these units aren't that tanky. If you step out to trade and leave them exposed, they'll die. Skyweavers 95 points for 2. It's a key part of the shooting force with its haywire cannons. Anti-vehicle 4+ for devastating wounds, so any wounds are 3 damage. So with the Eldar rerolls, you'll be putting down a lot of hurt on vehicles. Fast and cheap and also OC2. Not forgetting the extra 2 damage attacks that are good at killing marines within 12 inches. You need to take care of these and get them into vehicles to make the most out of them. Haywire isn't good against much else. The Death Jester is a great character at 90 points, and a lot of Eldar players take him, not just because he's a lone operative. His weapon is okay, 3 shots hitting on 2s with 2 damage and devastating wounds, but when he shoots he can choose to either ignore cover, get precision, or have sustained hits 3. Now give him Fate's Messenger enhancement for 15 points so he can switch a hit, a wound or a save to a 6 after he rolls, which is the most powerful way of doing it. He's able to snipe characters as one option, but also the sustained hits can really help killing a unit. The Solitaire, a great lone op unit that's all about melee, 115 points. He's got advance and charge, fight first, and 9 precision attacks at 2 damage. He's great at getting Assassinate Fear or removing a troublesome buffing character, but even with a 3+ invuln, which is amazing, he's squishy. So I'd actually advise holding him back for 2 or 3 turns, and using him as a late game effective unit for attacking or scoring secondaries. Fast anyway at 12-inch move with advance and charge, but once per game he can activate his Blitz ability, which gives him 2d6 extra movement and an extra 3 attacks. This guy will rocket across the board. So don't worry about being out of position to score secondaries, you can get straight back in the game. I'd keep that ability to late game. In general for lone operatives you can't do anything about a 3-inch deep strike if your opponent will shoot you, but arriving 9 inches away, it could be worth using Phantasm to try and get outside a 12-inch, as it's just a 50-50 roll. For that reason I keep the Solitaire in reserves and walk him on somewhere turn 3 for secondary points, and then come alive turns 4 and 5. The Troupe Master. At 55 points bring 3 and either lead troops or go alone. They are reasonable melee for their points, but when they lead they give the unit devastating wounds. Don't forget that Troupe give a +1 to wound on the charge, which buffs back. Troupe aren't really that good at max damage 1, with dev wounds and +1 to wound, they may surprise you. The fusion pistol on the Troupe Master is what you want to use your detachment rolls on, and using his ability to turn a fate dice to a 6, you can use those rubbish ones to be useful. Some good tactics then. Think about the Starweavers at 80 points. They're good and they give a bit of extra protection to its transported unit, but it'll only carry 6 models. Its special ability is really good, so you need to measure up well to use it. If at the end of the fight phase an infantry unit is within 6 and not engaged, they can jump back in. How to use this best then? Firstly, I suggest you don't use firing deck even though it's got it. If you fire the Troupe Master's fusion gun through it, it can't benefit from the fate dice manipulation. Also, you only get 1 hit and wound reroll for all the shots, rather than rerolls for the vehicle and then rerolls for the squad if they got out. The Starweaver has a 14-inch move, but a troop can get out within 3, move 8, advance and still shoot as all the guns are assault. Might as well do this to get the rerolls and use the grenade strat and then just hop back in afterwards anyway, so it's best of both worlds. I'm cheating a bit with my Harlequins because I'm using a custom model as the avatar of Cegorach. Using the avatar of Khaine rules, of course, it works for that bit the Harlequins miss out, which is something durable to hold objectives and build around. A super durable unit that's hard to take down. Also, using an auto 6 in fate dice on its shooting or overwatch is great considering it's got sustained hits D3. And for a strength 16 minus 4 AP and D6 plus 2 damage attack, that pays back nicely. I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to do a tournament roundup as I normally do after this weekend, so make sure you check back for that. And I'll see you soon. Bye.